It's official. Nino has returned, and with a nice fresh new motor. In my previous video, I was talking about the fact that the car was knocking and I wasn't sure what was causing it. Well, about a month ago, because that's how long I've been out of a car. Got the car back 2 days ago. About a month ago, I brought it to the shop and they had it for a couple days, and then they gave me a ring and gave me the bad news, which was my worst hypothetical possibility of what could be causing the knot that I said in the last video. Ring land failure, which I would be pretty shocked if this car with its age had ring land failure. Ring land failure would be basically the worst thing imaginable. I mean, if you don't know, that would entail it pulling the whole motor apart. And it was ring land failure. So, motor was toast. Cylinder 2 was making 20 psi. So, yeah. Not sure what exactly caused it. It was most likely something that had already started before I even bought the car a year ago. Well, a year and a half ago. At least that's what my mechanic thinks. I asked her if she thought this was something that could have been caused by me, and she said most likely not. This ring land failure doesn't just happen overnight. So, especially on an unmodified car. So yeah, needed a whole new motor. Wasn't really sure which route I wanted to go. Option 1 was rebuild, which, would make a lot of sense because then I'd have a much stronger engine, but I would be stock turbo still, intercooler, all the things, all the bolt-on parts around the motor would still be stock. And they also quoted me about $8,300 to rebuild. And I know that sounds like a really outrageous price, but that's a whole new block, just basically going forged internals, sending the heads off to a specialist to get machined, all this stuff, and they would have had it for months. And although that seemed like a good option for long-term reliability of the car, $8,300 being out of a car for that long and still basically making the same power, I was like, nah, $8,300 is a little steep. So, second option was to get a new motor. And we were trying to figure out what kind of motor I wanted. So, we ended up going with a motor from a 2007 SG9 STi Forester motor from Japan. So this is an imported motor, came from JDM Racing Motors up in Montreal, Canada. And they shipped it down, and RPM mechanic shop installed it and everything, and now Nino is officially STI swapped, or getting closer to it at least. Next is going to be an STI 6-speed transmission, which I cannot afford and might not ever be able to afford. We'll see. But for now, STI motor. Next, STI 6-speed, hopefully one day. The next step is the car needs to go back to them in a couple weeks. They're just completely booked up, so it was either have them keep my car for another 3 weeks or get it back now, because it's running great. It's not knocking or anything. It's not making a whole lot of boost. This is the VF turbo instead of the TD04. It's currently, I've gotten it up to about 13 psi, which I'm totally fine with that number. Once it gets tuned, hopefully maybe it'll make a little more, but I don't really care. Whatever's reliable, whatever's the safest tune. Yeah, so I got to bring it back to them in like 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks, and have my Grimspeed cold air intake installed, which is sitting behind the camera. I haven't even unboxed it yet. I will grab it in a moment. My Mishimoto radiator and transmission cooler, and then a tune. So here she is. Nice new fresh motor. Well, relatively fresh. 60,000 miles on this motor because it's an import. But got the bigger turbo, nicer intercooler, got the red intake manifold, got this fancy thing like this.
Yep, so now just the last steps is getting the tune on this thing, and Grimspeed cold air intake, which I just unboxed. This is something, kind of what it's going to look like. That'll go through there, and then that'll sit in there. And this handle has these rubber grommets that go around, so it has a good seal with the fender. And basically this guy will come out, and where it goes into there, the whole thing's just gonna seal up right in here. And it's gonna pull cold air from the fender. So that'll be pretty sweet. Hopefully it should help keep some intake temperatures down, reduce knocking. Don't want to blow up my nice fresh new motor, so yeah. So that's probably gonna be it for this video. I just wanted to make a quick little update. But yeah, I mean, I'll keep making these quick little update videos about what's going on with the car, what I'm doing to it. This was a big one, costly one. So hopefully there's more cool, fun, like cosmetic things now after the car goes back and gets tuned and all that stuff. Hopefully I'm done dealing with mechanical shit. But it's a Subaru, so I really can't guarantee that. So yeah, well, that'll be it for this one. See you in the next video where I'm probably breaking something.